Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Tonight's film is 1978's Papaya, Love Goddess of the Cannibals, also known as the Caribbean Papaya. This is directed by Joe D'Amato and put out by Severin Films. You can see their logo right there. And this is the back of the DVD. This thing is still in print. You can buy it off their website directly or through Amazon. I got this through their website. They had a 50% off sale recently. This is Papaya, Love Goddess of the Cannibals. Great artwork on the cover there. And this is from 1978. Now, Joe D'Amato, who directed this film, if you look him up on IMDb, you will see that he has done many, many films. Horror, but mostly sexploitation, erotic, even some pornography, things like that. Joe D'Amato, a very prolific director, and this is a film that just had a soundtrack release, actually, on vinyl and cassette. This is actually the cassette of it right here. This is, I picked this up here. This is actually the cassette. So the soundtrack for this film was recently released in the past couple of months, I believe like the summer of 2016. And so, but this film has been on DVD for quite some time. So let's get into this film because obviously, with the soundtrack release, some people might be even though it's a very limited soundtrack release, some people might be very interested in checking this film out if they haven't already. Papaya, Love Goddess of the Cannibals, or the Caribbean Papaya. First and foremost, let me tell you that we don't get enough papaya in movies. I'm talking about the fruit papaya. We also don't most of us don't even know the mysteries of the fruit of the papaya and how weird it can be for a lot of people and how weird it looks on the inside and even the outside. And some of the very interesting side effects of the papaya, especially when it's not ripe. You can look that up yourself on Google. But let's get into this movie. This is a movie that essentially deals with the mysteries of a woman in the Dominican Republic, in the Caribbean, and tied with the mysteries of this woman, this exotic woman from the island, is also mixing in the mysteries of a missing man on the island and two people that are looking for that man. Now, you mix into this film some political things, the cannibal genre, the voodoo ritual genre, of course, sexploitation, erotica, and even love, romance. So this is a film that really mixes a lot of different things. So let's get into it right now, folks. 1978, let's go there. First and foremost, let's look at the music. Now, since this soundtrack was recently released, this is a soundtrack by Stelvio Cipriani, I believe his name is. And let me tell you something. I actually was listening to the soundtrack before I saw the film for the first time tonight. And the soundtrack is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It is required summer listening, or if you live in a cold weather climate, if you want to feel like you're in the Caribbean, this is an unbelievable score. What a score! The score is complete with, of course, hand percussion, exotic Caribbean hand percussion, and wild types of bass lines and horns, and it really gives you kind of a Caribbean disco vibe. I mean, this is from 1978, so you're really getting this very funky, very sweaty, very Caribbean score that is at the equal parts danceable and equal parts dark and mysterious and very, very sexual at the same time. What a score! The score of this film drives this movie, and the music is utilized in this film in such powerful ways. Very, very powerful ways in conjunction with the editing of the film as well. So that leads me into the style of the film. This is a film that really has a lot of style, and this was a low budget film, but what style in this movie, the cinematography, the editing. Something that I found very interesting in this film is that in the edits, this film like repeats scenes. So like if a character kind of goes down to kiss somebody else on the lips or to kiss their thighs or something, they'll go down and then it'll edit again like this, and they'll keep going down in the edit, like almost repeat cuts but from like slightly different angles, like further back from further back or from behind or from another angle. So there's a lot of these types of repeat shots from different angles, which makes it really, really a bizarre vibe. I don't really see that a lot. I don't see that in films, but you kind of have like this kind of shifty thing, and it's mostly in the beginning of the film and mostly at the end of the film, interestingly enough. But there's also some great things. There's this great shot of reflection in this bowl of mysterious liquid, the reflection of the faces of the people that are about to drink the mysterious liquid. And there's such great shots of characters in the forefront and kind of looking like this Coke bottle, like your very bizarre kind of dreamy, nightmarish, like you're putting a camera through a bottle, through a glass bottle, and it kind of makes things very, very weird. Something in the foreground, and then the things in the back kind of take this tunnel vision in a way, if you catch my drift. So there's really some great cinematography in here and some very interesting editing as well. Now, the location of this film is the Dominican Republic. I mean, this is such a Caribbean movie. This is an island movie, complete with palm trees, the sand and beach, and all the characters are constantly sweating. There's no air conditioning. You're also in kind of like the impoverished areas of the Dominican Republic as well, with the real kind of kind of desolate streets and children on the streets and the kind of the shacks on the streets as well, the homes and things, but in the ocean. And man, is this a Caribbean feeling film. I mean, really, really, truly is. And you go into the homes, you go into these shacks, and very interesting. One in particular has some very interesting architecture where kind of a ritualistic scene takes place. But wow, if there was ever a movie that felt like you were taking a trip to the Caribbean, this would be it, folks. This would definitely be it. I mean, it was beautiful, lush, great shots, great scenery, great drives with the roof down these Caribbean roads. Very interesting. And the cinematography mixed with the location really was a powerful mix, and then mixed with the score by Stelvio also is a powerful cocktail. It's really, really a powerful cocktail, because this is a film that is mixing some things, and it's rather mysterious. I mean, I could see some people, some horror fans, thinking that it's not horror enough, but I would definitely see some sexploitation fans feeling like it's definitely way too horror. So I got to tell you, there's such foreboding and such suspense and tension laced in this film, and such sucker punches of violence in this film as well, and such sexy erotic scenes as well. So let's look at this. I mean, first off, from a horrific aspect, this is a film that really has a way of punching you in the face with violence that you were not expecting, that you were wrapped up in a very sexual scene, in eroticism, and then all of a sudden you are completely blindsided by something horrific. And there are very very nightmarish, one in particular, but nightmarish sequences in this film. And the way that Joe D'Amato kind of replicates panic and anxiety and suspense and terror in this film is very unique and very interesting, especially mixing that with a sexploitation film and an island film and even some political and crime stuff as well, and possibly even human rights at the same time mixed in there. But there are some incredibly gory sequences in this film, and they deal with real dead animals, and there's also a cockfight in here, and so some pretty disturbing things in here. In particular, there's a section involving some dead animals and a ritualistic scene that is very, very disturbing, and very graphic, and we have just some nightmarish and very dark, foreboding scenes of ritualistic voodoo type, you know, uh, kind of in. Just delving into it and getting into it and becoming possessed by it. Um, there is a tribal dancing in this film that is also foreboding, and the sexuality of this film is, the basically your full nudity, male and female, full nudity, front and back, um, but you're not seeing penetration or anything else like that, and you're not even quite sure if the actors are actually having sex in this film. I don't believe they are, but other Joe D'Amato films they are, but I don't believe they are. But it's definitely, the sex scenes are made to look very realistic, but there's nothing graphic really. A couple times near the end of the film, in one particular sex scene, you get a couple shots, up the butt, like or the butt really close up, vagina, stuff like that. But for the most part, you have hands on the vagina and things like that, and kind of implied blowjobs, implied oral sex, things like that. But some, orgy, lesbianism, things like that. Heterosexual sex, and then some kind of ritualistic orgy dance, dark horrific sequences in here as well. Some very horrific sequences involving masks and that kind of tunnel vision as well, and dancing and nudity. This is a film with lots of nudity, and this is a film where I would say there are some, sexually attractive women, the blonde woman and the main woman who plays Papaya as well. This is a wild film, and there's some blood in this film. There are some bloody sequences that'll blindside you, and it's also a very sexy film at the same time, and a very kind of mixed in with like maybe some exploitation as well, and murder. This is Papaya, Love Goddess of the Cannibals, and put out by Severin Films right here. Awesome, awesome movie. Thank you so much for watching the Tenru Bizarre YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like this one. And one more thing, folks. There is also a very kind of that dark kind of vibe, foreboding vibe, that I was talking about, involving children on the island, that reminded me a little bit of possibly an inspiration for Eli Roth and Hostel, and the film Who Can Kill a Child. But anyway, folks, thank you so much, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, and good night.